right now we turn to the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line and find the head coach of one of the top quarterbacks available in this draft, if not the top prospect at the quarterback position in this draft, in this quarterback-driven league. Pat Narduzzi of Pittsburgh football here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, Rich. Thanks for having me on today.
Really appreciate you joining me. How is everything, pro day, everything for you? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Everything's going great here in Pittsburgh. We've got beautiful weather. It's in the 40s, so it's a beautiful day in Pittsburgh. Finished practice 11, have a scrimmage number 12 in spring ball, and then pro day was outstanding. Kenny Pickett, I think I heard you say he's possibly one of the best quarterbacks. He is the best quarterback. There's no question about it.
Okay, so let's just dive into this. When did you first see him, meet him, recruit him? Walk me through that process, Coach.
Oh, gosh, Rich, it was a long time ago, man. Right. I'm getting old. But obviously out of high school, coming from Ocean Township High School in New Jersey, and we recruited him out of obviously high school. He wasn't a transfer portal guy or a grad transfer. He's a guy that we thought had a ton of talent, was originally committed to Temple. And we beat Temple on him, North Carolina, and the Tar Heels came in late trying to get him. When we didn't have a quarterback coach or offensive coordinator, we were able to hold on to him. And really in his freshman year, he played the last 4 games of the season out of need. Our starter got hurt. He was really a scout team quarterback, and we brought him up and started getting him reps because we knew he was the future. And he ended up helping us in his only start, the last game of the season against Miami, beat number 2 Miami at home here at Heinz Field.
Give me a good story about his demeanor and huddle, locker room leadership. What do you got for me on that, Coach?
Rich, he's a phenomenal leader. He's been a 2-time captain for us, and probably at the quarterback position, you need a guy that's going to lead your football team. Not only did he lead our offense, he led our football team. I mean, he was the guy. I think that the offense and the defense fed off of his leadership, but he was just a guy that constantly led this football team. It wasn't so many words, and I think sometimes he led by leadership, but he's not a rah-rah guy. He's a serious business type leader, and just it takes just a few words. Nobody wants to hear a long speech out of a leader, especially a player. They certainly don't want to hear it out of a coach, but about every halftime this year he got even better. Like his halftime deal was, after I got done talking, was, hey, whatever it takes, whatever it takes to get it done, guys, let's get it done. And our team fed off of him. So you would speak and then he would speak at halftime? Yeah, at halftime. I mean, just right before we would bring him up and break him down before we'd leave for the third quarter. I always just kind of got them all locked in, but then Kenny was going to get the last word in, which was awesome. Yeah, so not like some Gene Hackman Hoosier speech, just a quick word before you go back on the field, is what you're saying. No doubt about it. Okay. And so let's get into everything, the main topic of discussion with him, which I'm sure for a defensive coach like you, a hard-nosed, long-time coach like you, the words hand size might just make your eyes roll. But that is the conversation. I'm sorry, I'm just walking through the front door here, but also understand how silly it might sound. But in the NFL, you parse every single inch or every eighth of an inch, like his hand size growing between the combine and his pro day. So right. What can you tell me about that storyline here? I think it is something everybody's looking at, talking about as far as the media goes. But, Rich, there's not one NFL head coach, which we had a few of them at our pro day, not one scout, assistant coach, quarterback coach has mentioned one word about it. So I think it's all all a hot topic, I guess. But, I've never, ever, in 5 years coaching him, ever go, God, you got small hands, man. You got to be able to hold on to the ball. It was never a topic. And it didn't become a topic because it was never an issue on game day. I mean, if he was a guy that fumbled the ball a lot, then you might go, hey, let me measure your hands. But I've never noticed that. It comes down to, I think he's got a normal-sized hand, but his thumb doesn't always reach, like it doesn't stretch out, which I've never noticed. Again, 5 years with him, recruiting him, it was never something like, hey, there's something wrong. Maybe we need to, get surgery on his thumb or something. I mean, it's the guy's a phenomenal quarterback and he's got ball skills and again, just knows how to throw the football. Well, I guess it's small hand or large hand. What does it matter? Yeah, just get the ball to the receiver. Yeah, that's right. I don't mean to talk over you, but I guess the idea though is everything gets parsed out in the NFL.
and that you take a look at the history of the first round and quarterbacks at the position. Michael Vick was the last first-round draft choice who had a hand the same size as Kenny Pickett. And so it's been a long time because teams just think about that and just think about how that might affect, certainly if you're in cold weather. But as you just mentioned, it's a 40-degree day on April 1st in Pittsburgh. So he's done this before. You've never at any point in time saw something on the field. And again, you're a defensive-minded coach, so you know what you can attack of an opponent's weakness if that is such a thing. Right. You never once saw a moment where...
Never. There's not one time. And again, I'm not just talking game days, where everybody sees it. I'm talking practice, and you know how many balls he's thrown in practice and how many practices he had through his 5-year career at Pitt. I mean, never once from his early days on scout team, never once did you go, why does he fumble the ball so much? He doesn't fumble the ball. And he doesn't put the ball on the ground, and he knows the ball is the program and the team, and again, that's not an issue. It's not an issue at all.
Pat Narduzzi, head football coach, University of Pittsburgh, here on the Rich Eisen Show. So who was the one who taught him the fake slide and keep running? Mm-hmm. Who's the one who taught him that one?
You know what? It's funny. You can go check my Twitter probably about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks after that ACC championship game where we beat Wake Forest. And Kenny had the famous fake slide that now the NCAA has made a rule that you can't do it, which I don't think you'll ever see it again. Kind of, funny that they'd even do it. But obviously it was not taught. I wish we as coaches were that smart to teach it and practice it and drill it. And I wish I could show you, a drill tape and an individual period where our quarterbacks were practicing that. I think if he practiced it, he probably would have fell over like most guys would have. But I think it was an instinctual thing. I shouldn't say I think it is. I know it was just his instincts. And so I had one of our GAs go back and look at all our quarterback slides that we defended. And again, as you mentioned, Rich, I'm a defensive guy.
Yes.
And we're pretty aggressive. And quarterbacks can slide, but we're going to, they go down, we're going to go over top of them. We're not going to go, I think he's going to slide. It looks like he's going to slide, and I'm going to stop 5 yards before I get to him. So I think as he started running, he saw the defenders, 2 or 3 of them just kind of almost stop 5 yards away. He kind of said, I'm going to slide and be safe here. And then he said, wait, they aren't coming after me, and I'm going to take off and go. And that's what he did. And to me, it's great instincts by a quarterback.
That's incredible presence of mind. What do you say to him when he comes back to the sideline? What is happening?
Nice play, Kenny. Great job. Congratulations. I mean,
right?
It's not like he went down too low. I mean, it was just a heck of a play. I mean, you just talk about, that's what you want. I mean, you don't want to have to teach someone to do something like that, that's what he's got. We talked about his leadership, and everybody sees how he throws the ball and how accurate he is. I mean, he's going to put the ball like you have to in the NFL, right where it needs to be, on the outside number, the inside number. But you want a guy that's got instincts, and that just kind of shows you kind of the moxie he's got.
Well, I got to tell you, doing the combine on NFL Network, sitting in the booth, watching him get ready for his 40-yard dash, I was hoping like right around the 20 or 25, he would fake slide and keep running, like show it one more time in the 40. That would have been just next level.
Yeah, his agent would have been real happy about that, for sure. But
just say,
like
hey,
Coach, he's got instincts. He's a really smart kid. He studies the game, and he's a lot smarter than that. That's for sure.
Pat Narduzzi here on the Rich Eisen Show. A couple more minutes left with the Pittsburgh Panthers head coach. So the conversation about where Pickett may go, the Steelers sitting there at 20th overall, and the number of times I've heard also, I share a building, and I know, I in many years covering Steelers Thursday night football games for NFL Network, we would set up shop in the Pittsburgh Panthers locker room. That's where we would be as a group. So you're right there. The question is how real is that, though, that, the Steelers are right there, and so normally they're going to see him and they're going to know him. James Conner obviously is another example of how the pipeline just stays put right there. How much contact do you have with the Steelers because there's close proximity there, Coach?
We have a lot. Again, we have, it's a big building, and they've got half of the building. We've got half of the building, so we actually don't share like locker rooms here in the building, just like we don't share locker rooms at Heinz Field. There's a ton of contact. I mean, Tom will come strolling over to my office. We see each other on the field when we're both practicing at the same time, or or just in the weight room. I mean, he'll pop in. He's just as you know, Mike Tomlin is one of the best people persons around. He's going to talk to everybody, and he'll be out at our practices. I mean, my very first spring here back in 2015, we're practicing. All of a sudden, I see him standing, hanging out with our players on the sideline. So he's around quite a bit, and he obviously got a very busy job. But he's a football guy and loves watching our guys. So he knows our guys better than anybody. Kevin Colbert knows our guys better than anybody. They can look out the window or out our patio here and watch practice.
So that they're one of the 32 teams, or the only one of 32 teams that doesn't have to ask you about a prospect coming from your program and how they practice. They literally have seen it, is what you're saying.
They have seen it. There's times while we're practicing or they're doing their walkthroughs that Coach Tom will be bound watching our guys and I always say evaluating what we're doing and how we're doing it, and it's always good to have another incredible head coach peeking at your practices and giving you tips, and us getting tips from the Steelers in their practice.
Well, sure. All right. Well, Coach, I truly do appreciate the time, and I am mandated to say, the photographs that we've popped up of you on television over the last several minutes, you look good in yellow and blue. I'll be very honest with you. You look good. I didn't use maize, but the color scheme is really good compared to the color you previously wore before you went to Pittsburgh. No doubt about it.
And I'm glad you didn't use that word maize, because I was green for a while over there in the state of Michigan. I know you're a Michigan grad, so we don't like that maize color over here in Pittsburgh.
Well, I mean, it's maize-ish what you're wearing. I mean, you do have that. I mean, the tie that you wear on your headshot, it does look a little close to that. So, but I'm sure you enjoyed your time there for darn sure up in East Lansing.
We had a good time in the state of Michigan, that's for sure.
Did you ever hang with Izzo at any point in time? A Narduzzi and Izzo summit?
Oh yeah, two Italians. I mean, live probably half a mile away in the same subdivision. So, Coach Izzo is the best.
He is. He's one of my favorite people. Hey, Coach, thanks for the time. Greatly appreciated. Good luck. Oh, before I let you go, pound the table. Who else from your? I know I just spent time on your quarterback. Anybody else you want to mention here before the draft that comes up in about 27 days here?
We've got a few guys, Rich. We've got a few guys. I think we had the only snapper at the combine. Cal Automitis is a guy. Then Damari Mathis, one of our corners, went to the combine, ran a 4.39, and again, I think he broad jumped 11 foot and had a 43.5-inch vertical. So one of the best athletes and corners that I've ever coached. And I had 2 first-rounders at Michigan State with Darquez Denard and Trey Waynes. This guy's one of those guys. He's a competitor. He knows how to press, and we press all the time. So those are the top 3 guys that were at the combine that you may have seen there, and obviously in the Senior Bowl as well.
What's your long snapper's hand size, Coach? Do you know that?
You know what? He's got it's a 4.5-inch, but he snaps that ball back there.
That's odd.
And he gets it there.
Coach, thanks for the time. Really do appreciate it. Good luck.
You got it, Rich.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Anytime. Thank you. That's Pat Narduzzi, everybody, head coach of Pittsburgh football. Right here. I knew it. Old school defensive-minded coach. Hand size my ass is really what he really wants to say. Did you see the kid play? Didn't he wind up on the Heisman Trophy podium? Yeah, he did. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.